I'm back and in charge now. I've taken over from Stunner, but I'm steering the ship over towards North America. It's time for us to get into our first NA game, and it's going to be Team Liquid taking on Chaos. And it's quite an interesting one when you look at Chaos not being in maybe the best situation as what they should be, considering all the changes going around them. But Liquid as well, they've not been looking too hot either. And I've got Pim and Potter to talk through all the madness that is about to be this game going on. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Good, ready for some Liquid, yeah?
Now, in terms of this matchup, right, you guys have been seeing Liquid and maybe not getting results they wanted, but Chaos as well, they have visa issues with players, they have plenty of issues at the moment that they can't deal with, keeping a roster together. Is there a world in where Liquid drop the ball, though?
The scary part about this game is that I feel there actually is a world where this one could be a close one. I think Liquid have been looking rather weak as of lately. You know, we saw them in the Road to Rio thing in NA. They weren't really doing that well. I think it was very disappointing. They weren't able to beat neither Furia or Cloud9. And it's the fashion they lose in. I think Liquid right now is facing an identity crisis where they're trying to figure out how to enable the players. They're trying to figure out how they enable all the star potential they have, and they just can't get around it right now. So I'm afraid Liquid is not in a good shape, and that could be an open door for Chaos.
I definitely have to echo that sentiment as well. I think Liquid, the way that they lost, as you mentioned, Jacob, last time versus Furia and even Cloud9, it was just round for round fighting for economy. But then at the end, it just seemed like, I don't want to say they gave up, but maybe the online factor played a role. Maybe the fact that, you know, they didn't have a crowd to kind of cheer them on played a role, but it just seemed like round for round, they just kind of let Cloud9 just take the match away. And they ended up losing that match 16-12. So certainly if they show up in that same manner here today versus a Chaos, who is known in North America to be just an upset team, even in Flashpoint 1, we saw them upsetting MIBR, upsetting just multiple top contending teams. They've got to come in ready to fight.
And when we're looking at Chaos, right, they weren't even supposed to be here. They got a replacement invite to get into this. It's time for them to try and improve themselves. And we know, right, when you look at the leader in Steel, he's the man that likes to do his homework and make sure he can kind of take any little advantage he can over a team like Liquid. But I'm not sure if they have the pieces to get the job done. That's my issue with this lineup at the moment.
I think you're right. I think when you're looking towards the individuals on this lineup, you need some firepower, right? So they need to step it up tonight if they want to take down Liquid, that's for sure.
All right, well, let's go and get into our first team of focus and see what we've got to come from the Liquid guys.
The match against Chaos is definitely a match that we should be winning, like 10 times out of 10. And the only way that we could lose is if we lose to ourselves. So we need to make sure that we don't underestimate them and make sure that we try to get as many runs as we can, like 16-0. Don't even give them a chance to get into the game. Because as soon as we let off the gas pedal a little bit, that's when things start getting a little bit shaky. So that's going to be our goal, is to try to win as hard as we can and make sure that we're playing the best CS that we can against them.
Does find the first man, Cooper still to beat that twist holds the line.
I think that there probably would have been different results if we played some of these teams on LAN as opposed to online. I think that it is definitely easier for us to underestimate opponents when we're the better team, clearly. We just need to pick the map that we think is going to be hardest for them to deal with and just play our game as best we can.
Now, Elige there talking about what was actually going on inside the Liquid camp playing in these online scenarios. And like you said there, if it was LAN, maybe a different scenario, but you haven't got that choice right now. You've got to get on with what you have. Now, he was interestingly as well talking about choosing the right maps coming into it, but Liquid do have a strong map pool. Surely they can just choose whatever they want at this stage and be able to take them down, or do they need to look towards their comforts more here?
Liquid do have a very strong map pool, and I mean, I do find it interesting that Elige says that he wants to pick a map to make Chaos uncomfortable. Both maps that Liquid tend to lean towards, which is Mirage and Inferno, those are the comfort picks of Chaos as well. These are Steel's favorite maps. These are the two maps that he consistently picks versus a team that he wants to upset and steal a map away from in a series. So I think Liquid probably are going to want to avoid these maps, but as Elige said, they know that they're the better team, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just stick to their comfort either.
I guess that could lead to some more scrappy Counter-Strike though, right, Pim?
Yeah, I would say so. And I think, just by listening into Leash, the fact that he's so focused on the fact that Liquid needs to pick a map that they feel uncomfortable on is not a great sign to me, right? The Liquid we knew when they were the best team in the world didn't respect anyone. They even went into vetoes against Astralis and just played the best map of Astralis, believing they could win no matter what the map were. It seems to me, as I said before, that they lack confidence, they lack an identity, dare I say it, and it's not the Liquid we saw, in 2019 being the best team in the world. It's a new world, and we need to see Liquid step it up one more time and maybe redefine themselves and redefine how to play Counter-Strike.
So coming into Chaos, we have a crazy amount of change with the lineup. We have Voltage joining, then Zeppa coming in. We've got Jonji as a stand-in as well. It is not looking great for having a stable roster here, and that's obviously going to cause some problems with it. But could it also cause some of that element of surprise?
I think it's certainly got to be a mixture of both. And you even mentioned Leaf. I mean, he just left recently, just a few days ago, to join a Valorant roster as well. So it seems like Steel, he's been cursed with these rosters that just don't seem to stick around for very long. It's just been something that he's been struggling with for many years now. But if there's one thing Steel is great at, it's just gathering scraps together and somehow, some way formulating a plan to win a round, win a map, and steal away some sort of an upset, right? So I think Steel does a fantastic job at calling just on the fly calls and making his players as comfortable as he can. So hopefully Voltage has turned things around, because in his debut LAN, he did okay. He did his job, but he didn't have a superstar performance that I think he's gonna need to do in order to beat Liquid here in this series.
Well, let's find out what the Chaos camp had to say ahead of this game as well.
We haven't really prepared for Liquid specifically yet, just because of our late invitation to the actual tournament and not knowing who we're actually going to face against. I think we've just been doing preparation on a team level to make sure that we are not going to suck against like any team, not just Liquid, just like any team, just because we're cycling through new players, as everyone knows. I even forget, wait, did we go over this play with this person yet? No, we haven't. Oh shit, okay, well. I think that Liquid individually are very mechanically skilled players. They have really good fundamentals, and they also have really good strategies and tactics. So in order to beat them, we can't just have just one person playing well. It's all of us kind of need to be on, because if one of us isn't, they're going to punish us. So we need to be sure that we're hitting our shots to be able to kind of go toe to toe with them, at least trade out evenly. And then when it comes to team play, we're going to have to use what we have and hope that it's enough, and then just make up for a lack of team prep and chemistry by just talking more.
Now, Steel is a man who is always honest with his answers, but interestingly enough, he said there that they were not specifically preparing there for Liquid. Now, I don't believe that's going to be fully true when it comes to the matchup, but he probably did have to spend a lot more time working with the new players coming in and making sure they knew just kind of the default setup that was going around for the team.
And I think that's a valid point. I think Steel is onto something when he says that they haven't prepared for Team Liquid, as you're saying, because they don't have the time to it, right? There's so much so much chaos going around the chaos lineup, and it's just not a great situation for Steel and the boys. I think Liquid is in a position here that everyone expects them to win, and I don't think Liquid necessarily have prepared for chaos either, right? What are you going to prepare for? You don't know who they're playing with, you don't know what map who they're going to go for. It's basically a relatively new team as well. So I think we're going into a matchup where both teams are going in blindly, and I think that often creates a chaotic and very fun match to watch, but maybe not the most beautiful Counter-Strike.
Yeah, it could not be pretty, that's for sure. But let's have a look at these vetoes that are about to be coming and start talking about where we might end up here. Because for Liquid, we can know where they might want to go. But for Chaos, it's kind of do you play off your old style? Do you have a new style to implement with the new players in there?
Yeah, definitely so. And like I said, Inferno, it's Chaos, it's Steel's comfort pick, so there's no surprise that he would pick that there. But once again, Liquid, they always pick Inferno as well, so this is certainly going to be a brawl. And I know that Steel mentioned that he's not really counter-stratting, but I feel like that's just his style anyways. That's just the way he calls in general, so he just loves to counter-strat in his calling.
And then coming into Mirage, what do we make of that? Because that, to me, is more of the Poggy style where we can see Chaos actually have some opportunities in there. So I'm surprised if maybe Liquid just think, okay, we're going to go heads up and we just are the better team, like Elise was saying.
Yeah, and I think Liquid have to do that, right? Because it's one of those maps that allows for a lot of individual duels. It's allowed for, Elise to go off, Twist for that matter as well. Normally a great player on Mirage. Maybe even Stu 2K can find some of his old form and be a pity for Chaos. Liquid is a team filled with superstars. We can't forget that, right? We can't forget that Liquid a year ago were one of the best teams in the world. Obviously, right now they're in I would say identity crisis. They're in a playing crisis. They're not playing some solid Counter-Strike. Only Leash can really be proud of his performances as of lately. So we need to see more out of a Liquid, but I think Mirage is one of those maps that allows for the superstars to really shine. And against a team like Chaos, it should be relatively easy for Liquid.
Now, realistically, before we get into any mode of predictions with it, do you guys think we could see a decider in there, starting with you, Pim?
No, I don't think so, and I don't hope so. For the sake of Liquid, if we get a 3-mapper here, if we get all the maps, then definitely it's going to be a very entertaining and very good Counter-Strike match between the two teams. But realistically speaking, we're looking at a team that is supposed to fight for the number one spot in the world, going up against a team that is losing players to a game that is not even out officially. Right? It's definitely not going to be a good thing for Chaos here. I think Liquid is going to have the upper hand.
So you think it's Liquid all the way then with that, Pimp, yeah?
All the way.
All the way. Potter, what about you? Where are you going with this one?
I've got to pick Liquid as well. It wouldn't make any sense in the world if they don't win this series out, but I'm not going to count Chaos out quite yet. I do think that they are fully capable of stealing a map away, but I'm going to take Liquid 2-1 here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that sentiment. I'm down with the 2-1 because I feel like there is a chance that Chaos can sneak a map in there. But I also think that Liquid have to make sure that they want to take this, convincingly build some confidence for the rest of the games. They should be looking at a 2-0 in some very convincing score lines just from what we've seen from them. I don't think it's going to happen there. I think it's going to be a little bit awkward.
It's very funny, right? Both of you think there's a legit chance that Chaos can take a map off Liquid, who were at some point the best team in the world. They're now facing a team who's playing with stand-ins, who hasn't really been practicing together. It tells quite a story, because I agree with you guys. There's a chance Chaos can take a map, but it tells a story about where Liquid is right now in their circle of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's definitely not looking good if you predict them to lose a map to a team like Chaos.
And I think they have to prove to all the fans out there that, okay, yes, it's online, yes, things have changed, but they're still hungry and they still are one of the best teams, and if not the best team in North America, but they now need to deliver it on a consistent basis. And Potter, do you still consider them to be the best North American team?
I do. I just think that the lineup itself, individually speaking, they are just so talented that you can never count them out. And any given Sunday, each individual can absolutely show up and they can be the number one team in the world again. It's just, as Jacob mentioned, identity crisis. It's very strange, but I think they're turning things around slowly but surely.
Well, let's see if they had. It's time for us to go to a break. And then when we come back, it's time for our opening NA game. It's Liquid taking on Chaos. And you're going to have the incredible Scrawny and Launders to take you through all the action.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It seems the time has come. That's right. DreamHack Masters Spring 2020 in full effect. We're 2 BO3s down on the day, but of course, that's the European region. And Launders, it's over. All right, we're shifting gears into North America, and we have ourselves one hell of an interesting matchup to begin this whole affair. Team Liquid, number one team in NA, some would say, versus Chaos of all opponents.
I think it's a good match. It is the number one team in NA, some would say, versus Chaos, who come in because BNB dropped their spot, disbanding. They gave over John G. But Chaos has gone through a lot, even before this, having roster changes, 8 this year, in fact, up until this point. And if we look at Steele's interview, it shed a lot of light on the fact that, they've gone through a lot, they haven't had a lot of time to prepare, and they specifically haven't prepared versus Liquid. So that's a concoction for a disaster. But you look at Liquid, and you say, they lost to Furia, they lost to Cloud9, they're fallible. There's a chance here that Chaos can pick up this series.
There's a chance, and there's a will. And where there's a will, there's a way. So we will see. Folks, it's time to get this one started. Chaos on that T side of Inferno. I mean, man, they're going to have their hands full. That's most certain. These players, I don't know. This caliber, this pedigree, can they do it? It'd be a big ask. I mean, my eyes immediately fall on Zeppa. All right, what has he had to play up against before today? In comparison,
not much.
Yeah.
Not much. Yeah, he's played well, but not versus great teams. But to no fault of his own, they haven't played against teams where he could really show off how good he is. So this could be a great establishing map for Zeppa specifically.
Well, let's see. It's time to perform. You've got that smoke down on the apartments. Twists inside of it. But decides not to reveal himself just yet. We get this nice full execute flying over the top. There's smokes, there's mollies, and there's damage being done. There's knives being had. Welcome to the big leagues. Zeppa's been shanked, and a 4 versus 3 is what ensues here. So at least Chaos will have a chance to get that bomb down, so they should. More damage being done here as Steel just gets his feet onto that bomb site. Nitro, he was trying to nip at them. And now he's looking to find a head, but nothing to take as of yet. Everybody's just going to try and slow down into this post plant. Dewey, he's able to connect one, and here comes that rush from Nitro, making quick work in the retake. Everybody's just flooding forward here, and Vanity, everything to do. First Glock shot connects from him. 65 health and 2 more players to take, but Liquid gets the bomb. Oh, that's insulting.
Yeah, it's an easy decision for Liquid. The bomb's there. You go on to it. You've got a teammate from the perched up on the balcony, watching Pit, making sure that you can't peek, and there's no real way for him to go and peek the bomb diffuser. So that's an easy round for Liquid. They post up in the 3v3 in all the appropriate spots, and Stewie hangs on to a very, very important piece of utility, that one flashbang to activate the trio all at the same time. It's kind of a great way, like a metronome almost, to initiate the execute, as opposed to messy voice comms at times. The flashbang goes off, there's not going to be a second one, so you've got to push in, and they follow up perfectly. The buy-in now is going to be 2 MP9s, M4, a couple of Famouses, handful of utility. Same can be said there on that front for Chaos. And they spread the map evenly, a little bit of attention into apps, but the bomb is left back on the stairs.
It's chilling, and it could potentially be cut off as well. Remember, we've got Stewie and Nafly just floating around on Banana. They are tucked safely into their corners, and, well, the numbers game could play to their advantage. Chaos are going to group themselves back up and look for that hit, but Stewie, well, again, smoke, just going to delay what could be the inevitable.
He'll post up here all the way down. Stewie knows he's going to have a big fight on his hands. A little bit of help here from Naf, but once this smoke comes up, that's when the war begins.
Here it is. Stewie, first at bat. CZ does good work from Jonji. Now they're going to pick up that one rifle and start moving their feet as quick as they can forward. Nafly falling back one position, still playing close, getting inside of the smoke, mowing down the first player. That's Jonji removed. So he created this opening, and he's created a chance for his team to flood forward, but that bomb is what's cut off, and whoa, Voltage, wild play. Decides to jump through the smoke grenade, doesn't pan out. Still, remember, there's a FAMAS and an AK within the mix. Again, players just forcing the issue here. Man, we are going left hook, right jab, back and forth in this fist fight of a post plant. But Vanity, again, the last man up. Again, he tries his hand in the 1 versus 3. He gets that first player, but tapping the bomb, he doesn't want him to stick another defuse. He can't get line of sight. It's difficult, and Nafly's still sticking this, swapping over to the Glock. It is chaotic, and it is still successful. Team Liquid taking 2.
It was played nicely by Vanity. It was a good try. He lined that up. It was so close. He almost got the bomb diffuser down, and then the last guy's there, and he has to go for it. Well, his hands are tied while he has to defuse and deal with the smoke push. All the while, the smoke could come up, and then it's a whole different round. So it's a really, really good try there from Vanity. I think Voltage, pushes the issue a bit too much. You pointed out, he jumps through the smoke into CT spawn after he hears someone expel their mag, but there's still more players that have rotated in, and it felt like way too much time where they could have taken construction control. So maybe a bit risky there, and maybe he didn't believe that his team was going to end up winning that round, and was instead deciding to try to go for kills on top of securing the plant.
Oh, we settled in, okay, Launders? 2 rounds out of the gate. We're getting chaotic. We're getting crazy.
Yeah.
So now we have a chance to breathe before the rifle round really gets rolling.
It is true. Voltage scoping out the top of mid. It's a great round to do it. There's no utility here to stop him from looking around, and nobody's re-aggressing as well. Instead, Liquid will cheat one over with no banana control. A gamble by them. This could be Chaos playing into their own hand, but they start to turn their attention back towards Banana. And as they wait longer and longer, those rotates will start to uncongeal, move out towards B. A little bit of fear will set in for Liquid. Seems to be working out quite well for Chaos.
Yeah, they're going to do more of the same. Heading back over to that B site as seen in the previous round. We've already got that smoke blocking off CT, so Stewie's going to try and scramble and get in the side of the site, but Look at John G go, man. He is just making space. And this time, he gets to be a part of the post plant. 5 survivors on both teams as that bomb is planted. So we are going to have one hell of a clash in this retake. Vanity close on the coffin. He's able to get that first man advantage, but it is swung immediately, and so the same. They've maintained that one-man edge. Now the spray from the top of the box works out well. 2 versus 2. Steel on the cusp of the smoke, trying not to be spotted, and oh so damn tight. Twists down to 14 HP. A single player left. Voltage over into the corner. Loses his head and loses the round. Team Liquid gonna stick this 3-0 their start.
He had no choice. Voltage had 0.2 seconds before Twist shoots him. Once that smoke comes up, he had to flick just a tiny bit faster. Twist with the 4K, and they pull up the retake with very low utility. They already had gamble stacked towards A. The rotator into B was so late, he couldn't even stop the CT cross by spamming or pushing through with a flash. There was so much emphasis on the one player on the site. This is a round that Chaos played well and probably should have won, but it's Twist, the superstar, to come in and make sure that they can't. So now they're going to go into round 4. They have enough money to buy once again, but this time Liquid take it a step up in terms of their utility and will make it even harder for Chaos to pull off a round like that.
I do like that they've already gotten that top banana control right away. We saw Chaos kind of flexing themselves and faking themselves towards the brackets of mid, but they have found the top of banana.
They do.
For the taking yet again.
They're about to peel it.
All the way back. Reveal what is within. And currently, inside of this is, of course, the 2 CTs. Still Stewie and Nafly, but very much stacked on top of one another. They're going to lay down another smoke grenade, trying to get this in front of what is a commitment yet again from Chaos. Look at the health bars. That utility damage is superb. And a follow-up from Naf. A couple blind shots through smoke to really convince Steel to walk away from this one. He has that bomb, and all the while he was hoping Vanity would find an opening on the A site, but he hasn't yet found that ground.
What people must be wondering is, why are they forcing their hand over at B? And that's because Liquid are not paying it enough attention. And so from that perspective, yeah, it's 3-0. But Chaos have pulled out 2 rounds towards B that were totally valid. It makes sense that they try to hit the site here. Now, one way to avoid having to meticulously deal with sets and shades of utility as they come in throughout the round is to just go in before anybody's throwing anything. Cut noise, get close, contact, explode. And you know what? They're still in this round. There's Nafly who's in the back of the site. There's 10 seconds left. Oh, the bomb could get denied, though, and then that's going to be the end of it. Yeah, Vanity is just going to want to save a bit of a Hail Mary. If they had a few more seconds, maybe they could have killed Naf, but if they had a few more seconds, maybe Liquid wouldn't have rotated out. So it's impossible to try to reason out how they could have won from that perspective. I think Liquid made the right play leaving Naf there. He had lots of time to protect himself.
Damn. I like
we're not
the
mad
mind
about
games
this
we've had so far.
Yeah,
no,
we're not mad
not
about this. Yeah,
he's
Liquid. Chaos are definitely, they're being pragmatic. They're going towards B because Banana's open. Like, that's what everyone tells you. If no one's going to put pressure there, why wouldn't you try to attack the site? Problem is that they've shown their hand twice now, so Liquid are going to get a bit smarter about it. Plus, Liquid have already won those rounds and now have to get to collect on a free eco. And before you know it, bingo, bango, bombo, bango, bongo, it's 7-0, So
Banana bombos.
Banana slam and jamma at 7-0.
Well, Stewie at bat yet again. Crisp headshot versus John G. The respected front man for Chaos. Always ready to create that space, get his team in to where they need to be. But this round, not going to be a part of the equation. He is nothing more than an insignificant splatter on the back wall of Banana.
Wow, that's something you never want to hear yourself called, ever. Sorry, John G. Yeah, if anybody ever told you that, it would hurt. But this round it was true. He just had a pistol. They also, I think it was a really important point that Steele mentioned about they need to be able to earn Liquid's respect before they can even think about the strategy and so on. So here's going to be quite a simple execute out towards the halls. A great grenade at Vanity's feet. He's not going to be able to trade. Man doesn't even know if he's still alive. He's so smoked out.
the entirety of pit sectioned off from the bomb site. There's a world where players had walked into this, but obviously they still have nitro within the site now to be tested, and the op goes down. So that could have been an excellent chance for a plant had they just managed to survive a moment longer. But with 2 inside of pit and that opper on the site, I mean, what can you really ask of Chaos? That single AK that was brought into the round by Vanity will be grandfathered into the next one, but here we have it. 5-0 the start for Team Liquid.
Mm-hmm. It would have made sense if Vanity stuck around for the trade. If that nade didn't land on his feet and do like 50 damage, then maybe he tries to go for that, and they could have potentially pulled out a plant with $0 to his name, though. It was too much of a risk thinking about this round where everybody knows they're going to buy. He's got no utility whatsoever. He's got no money as well, so he's leaving it all on the table right now. And Chaos starting out with the B pressure once again. Liquid are happy to give this up, and honestly, why wouldn't they if it continues to work? Voltage also immediately taken out. Terribly important scalp here for Chaos to lose.
Yeah, especially right out the gate. You know, earlier on in those first few rounds, like we were seeing them with the opening pick. We would see Jonji go for the 1-1, the 4v4 sets to unfold at a slower pace. But this is now 2 back-to-back rounds where we've got opening kills for Liquid quickly and Chaos trying to scramble to pick up pieces. The difference, obviously, this is the gun round they were waiting for. So the job's not about to be any easier. Another smoke is met at the top of Banana, so both Zeppa and Jonji will have to hold their horses.
And they've used key pieces of their kit already, so they can't even really pull off a stake at this point without using a player, and they don't have the material to do that. They're already down a man, so instead they'll decide to group up, form this conga line on Banana. 2 players pressed against the walls on the back of B. They're in pretty favorable spots to maybe get 1 kill, and that's all they're looking for.
Here's Stu, another swift one. Right between the eyes of Jonji. Zeppa and Vanity gonna try to close this distance, but here's Nafly from the back of the site. Good multi-kill for him. That's a snappy little triple. 6 rounds to the 0 of Chaos. Still trying to crack open a T-side.
Still just beautiful from your man, Keith. Really nicely done there from Nafly. They contribute. Yeah, big Markovic. Now they have Stewie, who also gets the opening kill. They play spots where if they get 1 each, they're still good, right? They stay up no matter what. So a nice round overall. Now we look at the overall team here for Liquid. Now they lost to Cloud9 2-1. They lost to Furia 2-1. Those are tough losses, and they have people wondering, you know, are Liquid okay? You know, are they doing fine? How's the team spirit, and are they capable of like beating good teams right now, or could they lose to anybody? And it's probably a little bit of both. I think they still have the ability to beat whoever they need to. If we look at their previous performances or some of their stats, we see that Elige has bounced back to a near all-time high in terms of personal stats, as well as Nafly and Twist. Although his stats haven't quite caught up yet, in his most recent matches, he's been the best player in the server. So I think with that core, which are the 3 most important players on Liquid to do well, playing well recently, as long as they do that all at the same time, they are old Liquid still. I think it's a mark on the record to lose to Furia, to lose to Cloud9, but you could also say Furia are looking at pretty freaking good too. You know what I mean? Case Dorado, the Brazilian Coldzera, he's looking awesome. So I don't think it's a shame necessarily to take one of those losses in a vacuum. Both of them, I think, is where people draw question marks.
Yeah, and then the next question that follows suit is like, if there's already 2 on the tally, when's the 3rd going to happen? You know, like how much more will they slip if they continue with that trend? But you know, nobody should forget the fact that Furia at one point was vying for like a top 5 position in the entire world. It's not like Team Liquid have lost to somebody that unfathomably beat them. Ooh.
Yeah, they're sponsored by Nike, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, real athletes, baby. Naf's going to land the op shot, follows up with a second one. Down goes Jonji. So we were just expecting maybe these pistols to prevail in sheer numbers, but shredded as they hit that B bomb site.
When Steele mentioned in his interview that, you know, they're Liquid, basically what he was alluding to is that Liquid are going to run down mid every single round if we don't stop them from running down mid every single round. And they've tried to garner some respect here in those first couple of rounds with these kind of contact B plays. But since they didn't work, they haven't met that piece of criteria yet. And here it is, Liquid running down mid into Steel. One of the rifles of the round, a full buy-up. They'll get that and run because no one's around to trade. And now they can reset into the 5v4 and let Chaos do whatever they want.
Yeah. I think at this scoreline, and you know,
the first threat, right? Running down mid. You know, it's what really saps whatever confidence, the little confidence you had, completely out of your body and out of your team. And it ruins your comms when teams start doing this to you. And this is the position that Liquid wanted to get into. I don't think they want to start out like this in case they found out that they're, you know, today the Liquid that loses to Cloud9. But now that they realize they're up to the 7-0 versus the team they should be beating, now they can start to play more like themselves.
Yeah, now we're going to start to see the real Liquid, but I completely mirror your point there, where it's you know, this is not what we got right out of the gates, and I'm kind of glad to see that. You know, if I had an inkling that we were going to see the Liquid that had just rolled out of bed and thought they could walk over Chaos this morning, then there could have been cause for concern. But once they've established their dominance, their superiority, we're going to start having a little bit more
holding
fun.
Down this angle onto short. There's pressure being applied from Chaos, but they're not moving off of this utility. They'll start to pressure in now, but everybody's already gotten comfortable and the flashes have been used. There's Vanity who has one left. Zeppa immediately gets taken out. No trade in sight. Twist from the top of Valk ends up getting traded, but Stewie in the midst of that also finds one, and Nitro completes the round, killing the last player of Chaos. It's 8-0 for Team Liquid, and there we saw the chemistry, I think, was the primary factor working against Chaos, where they had some utility. They started throwing it out to beta peak in a situation where Liquid did not need to peak, and then didn't move or gain ground at the very least. So they ended up throwing utility into the abyss, taking nothing for it, which is just not a worthwhile investment.
Yeah, they threw the utility, they opened the window, but they forgot to lock it, and it slipped back down onto their fingers. Never did they get a limb onto that A site. So again, a total and utter shutdown, and a good sign. Honestly, like, unfortunately for Chaos, I wouldn't want to be them in this situation because this is a daunting Team Liquid, but it is reassuring to see that Liquid are coming into this with a nice amount of form. But here we go, a nice aggressive play, just looking to completely change pace, not wanting to stutter step around those smokes, not wanting to falter on the flashbangs, but rather follow through and attempt they do. A single kill is all they get. Chaos still 0 rounds.
Still, we've got 2 or 3 avenues of interest been shut down completely by Team Liquid multiple occasions now. We've got Banana and Short, maybe off the menu a little bit here for Chaos. They've got to find a new way to try to get into this game, and the hard part is they've got to get more complex about their approach, which is a problem considering they can't even pull off the simple stuff and trade out efficiently, even when they have the correct calls to go to the correct sites. So what's the new mode of action? I think one of the problems they maybe need to deal with first is using too much utility without gaining anything for it. Here they are maybe addressing that problem, getting up towards Arch, the third area of interest. They're causing mad rotations here by Team Liquid. Vanity's already made his way into CP spawn, but he immediately gets taken down.
5v4 after 5v4. A reoccurring trend here as we are 10 rounds deep. Naf just going to connect one as Zeppa tries to rush through smoke. Here's Twist with another towards Steel. He comes out at a less favorable situation than Naf. 100 health on him, 14 for Twists. But again, no real opening for Chaos to try and flood forward through. Their last remaining members just flirting left and right, and both die at nearly the same time as Team Liquid take that fantastic 10-0 start.
It's like they're just, when they lose one player, question marks go. You can see the question marks on top of everybody else's heads. Like, where do we go on this flowchart? Now, how do we make up for that lost trade? Do we cancel a plan that we initially wanted to approach Liquid with? And I think, you know, that just mounts so quickly. And there's just a lot of reliance on that initial 5v4, that trade to just go well. That first guy who paths out into an unexpected location to hopefully get his trade and then make a hero play. And that's just not going to be enough, of course.
I will say, though, well-run utility usage onto this A site round after round. It's just the kills that don't seem to be connecting. You saw that kind of fiery attempt at falling back on short A. Molotovs meeting Team Liquid as they try to retreat. They have to smoke out their feet and keep going. And in the end, again, they're all fine. But There's at least pressure being created by Chaos. It's pressure, but it's not openings. And that's what they need if they're going to do anything on this offense. A little run boost with the smack 10. Down goes Stewie. Hello, Steel. We've got it, Launders. We've got an opening, a cracked bomb site with a plant and picked up guns on top of it. But can they hang on? We've got the double Molotov on the retake, smoke frag too, so I'll be curious to see if Chaos try to throw a body forward, look to interrupt the utility before it really gets to be a piece of the retake, but there it is. A Molly forcing Zeppa into the duel, and he gets 2 headshots, dropping both a Liege and Twist, so Nitro to clutch. Nitro to try and keep that 16-0 dream alive and kicking. But he seems to be thinking whether he even wants to try this clutch. Bomb so far gone, it's over. He's looking to deal some damage because you know that the costs will stack up. But congratulations, Chaos. You've broken the curse, baby. You are on the board, 11-1.
It's a dignity round. They get that round. They do it with not much to work with. They do suffer majority deaths, just as you pointed out. You know, Nitro getting that kill hurts somewhat, but ultimately they'll take it. I mean, they're happy, they'll take it. So that's nice. Obviously, Classic Steel leading by example. Run boosted in with the Mac 10. 2 kills in positions where Liquid were extremely successful in the past. That's nice. I think B site is still potentially tempting for them, considering Liquid aren't throwing the kitchen sink at them at the bottom of Banana, so they aren't taking a lot of damage to get to the half wall. And Jonji, oh my god, he ends up getting both kills instantly. You should know, this round is pretty much over. Yeah.
Should be. Most certainly should be. They try to get ahead of the smoke pluming, but nope. T's are going to be able to get themselves onto the site. A Liege and Nitro both taking damage from the utility, softening themselves up. Bomb a little late on arrival, but better late than never. Just out of Alicia's line of sight, Steel puts that bomb down as the molly burns. Now that it is extinguished itself, it could be time for the retake. Another smoke on CT. So again, because they got this close for this cheap, Chaos have all the tools in the toolbox to just look to lock it off. But Twist is going to spam the smoke. Steel decides not to shoot through it. Zeppa burning, curious, as these CTs really go all in on it, trying to trade train their way to an 11th round. Steel cutting off the man in CT spawn. It's Nitro with a desperate stick. No way! He's got it! Team Liquid with a robbery.
Come on. I had all of these thoughts in my head about how to talk about how Chaos did something great there, how Jonji was Thanos with his space creation. He ends up getting into Banana by himself. 5v3 to start things off, and they pull off the 3v5 retake with late CT control, late construction control. It seemed like it should be a terrible round for Liquid to even attempt that, and we actually have the last second defuse. Jonji ends up getting a 3rd kill in the site too if he hadn't done enough already. And so bad turns to worse. Liquid win another. And the only thing going for Chaos right now is a fat loss bonus.
Real thick. 4 C's.
Yeah. Underlined in italics.
How about bold? Is that too far?
Yeah, it could be double bold.
Couple shots ringing off elsewhere on the map. That double op Inferno T side. Let's see you make magic happen, Chaos. Gonna smoke off one player behind Coffins. This leaves Stewie isolated. He's lost the CP player already too, so the casualties starting to stack up yet again here on the B site. It seems like Chaos, they've seen a soft spot in Liquid's flesh. They've been trying to sink their teeth into it round after round now, but we know how close they were just one previous. Napfly has 16 kills, 4 deaths, feeling himself at home at the moment. Can he manage to get this retake happening? 3v4. Barely. Jonji. Such little health, but he'll hang on. There's 2 simultaneous kills. So suddenly, just like that, another added. And Voltage, you're going to have to do everything. It's been a rough start for him. The no-scope, but Nap swoops in with an op of his own, grabbing his 18th kill and stealing another defuse.
You can't be surprised that Liquid win retakes. You know, that last round, it was a bit more egregious. 5v3, instant 2 kills Banana. This round, it's a bit closer. There's a bit more favorable trades, even though it's still unfavorable. So you can expect that they're able to pull it off again. But Chaos had great spots. I think there was a couple of positions that were missed. But you don't really want to patronize a team like, with players of this caliber on either side here when it comes to post-plan positions. They know how to play those, and I'm sure, they're thinking about how they could have done better in that previous round, but it just comes down to experience together. I think they just made some slight misadjustments, and Liquid were there to exploit their weaknesses. But what I will say, man, is if a better team right now was taking Banana, like Chaos was, they'd be winning a higher percentage of these rounds because they're getting in the site and they're getting into post plans that most teams would win. So first of all, I understand why Chaos are going here. I actually wonder why Liquid have taken such a passive setup to try to defend. But in general, it seems to work just because of the retakes.
Yep. And Nafly, 19 kills now. Looking to grab another Nitro. He's going to be pressured in spawn. Zeppa looking to flank around both of these offers, and he's got them dead to rights. 3 kills already for Zeppa. 23 health still to play with. He's going to get burned out into the open. He's cut off from his teammates. He could fall back, but he's bound. It was either forward or back. He knew he was going to be dodging shots no matter what. And at this sort of a scoreline, why not take your chance to steal another retake? There is that Molotov on Elige, and it's bound for the new box. This is going to flush out Voltage in just a moment, unless, nicely done, Steel with a bit of team play tries to save him. This is just going to force Liquid onto the site. They're going to start moving their feet forward. That's both players confirmed, perhaps. Twist now at bat, trying to find Voltage as he just hides and hopes to survive, of which it seems no one will. Twist, he goes down with the cause as Chaos takes 2.
Yeah, down with the cause. Sometimes, even that came slightly close, but still a nice round there for Chaos. Once again, they ram their heads in towards B, but it is the correct play. They are coming out favorably. And even as you mentioned, even though Nafly is going superhero mode to try to get all these kills, and they seem to be feeding them, because they're playing in the site, they're not giving their teammates a lot of time to try to rotate. And it's not like they're pushing into halls to try to relay somebody to fast flank or have somebody in CT spawn watching ours passively. No, they're playing 3 dedicated A, 2 very deep on B, and on these anti-eco rounds or eco rounds they've pushed down, and here they actually get punished as well. Jonji, he's gonna have a feast of it. He's already got 2 kills. Vanity also grabs 1 top mid, and would you look at that, it might be a 12-3 half.
Sometimes these sorts of things happen. You get towards the end of things, let off the gas just a little, stop losing to way of last second defuse. And I love the patience, man. You've had how many rounds taken away from you? How many moments that have been stripped away to just the smallest of mistakes? So in a 5 versus 2, in the 15th round with a minute on the clock, nobody move. Full execute. Full commit. 5 sets of shoulders, side by side, looking to rock into this B bomb site. Twist is going to sprint over with his Deagle if he can. Do anything at all. But for the moment, Nitro, just the 1. That was really the God mode moment if Nitro was going to do anything to stop this, because Twist's in a Deagle, or rather with one. Oh my God, hold on. They haven't seen him yet. He gets the close shot versus Jonji and is given a chance, just enough to make you shake in your boots, folks. But that's it, 12-3, a commandeering lead. We'll be back after a quick break for the second half of Inferno.
Those walks in the cold, drives into nowhere. Tell me how it feels when I hold you tight like we don't care. I'll come whenever you call. I'll run right into your arms, or hold on whenever you fall. 'Cause you changed me, ooh, you changed me. I remember days that we spent. I remember time that we made. I'm thinking on the day that we met. Hope you know I'm glad that we waited. Can't forget those walks in the cold, long drives into nowhere. Tell me how it feels when I hold you tight like we gon' pair, gon' pair, gon' pair. I'll come whenever you call. I'll run right into your arms. Oh, hold on whenever you fall. 'Cause you change me, ooh, you change me. I'll come whenever you call. I'll run right into your arms. Oh, hold on whenever you fall. 'Cause you change me, ooh, you change me. I'll run your run. I'll run. 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 I'll come whenever you call. I'll run right into your arms. Oh, hold on whenever you fall. 'Cause you change me, ooh, you change me. I'll come whenever you call. I'll run right into your arms. Oh, hold on whenever.
Welcome back, folks. 12-3 the half. Blink, and you would have missed it. The very first North American game of DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. And we're back. It's the second pistol coming at you now. Chaos with a hell of a job to do here on this CT side. We saw Liquid kind of getting comfortable at the start of that first half, and then once they had their sea legs, oh my God, did they pick up that tempo. Things got wild.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they gave him scurvy without even without keeping it. So yeah, they felt good. Now, you know, let's talk about the pistol setup a little bit. 3 towards B, 2 on A. Pit, obviously the strongest position, so it favors them a little bit if Arch doesn't get blown up. Now we know Twist likes to call these Arch takes on T side, but this time they're going towards lane, so the chance here to stop this. They're on point.
Certainly, but the Molly, it's going to get into the mix, and Twist executes steal before he even has a chance to pop off on the 5-7.
Oh, great pathing, right? They had Twist didn't even worry about that side of Pit, just decided to come out with the flash, turn to the flash while in the air, and stop Steal. There was no chance Steal could even turn.
No, he knew he had a job to do, and my God, did he do it. But here's the last 3 CTs trying to barrel their way up short into the block grinder. They walk. It's headshots on headshots. I mean, damn, dude. Twist even steals the 5-7.
Yeah, they just walked right into the fire breath. And it's exactly how you want your post-plan situation to go. It's in fact how you wanted your hold to go on CT side, to have players cross-firing like that. But instead they chose to go for the double pit setup, which again, not a bad play. It's a bit of a gamble because once again, the rotations are a bit late, but Pit's so strong that you could see that working versus a full A take, or at least delaying long enough or trading out favorably enough for your teammates to come through. But it's that lack of information that means that if you don't trade, there's almost no chance that your team can help you win. 13-3, Connor.
To
So
3.
Wanted to cast and barely even have gotten a chance to.
Yes.
16 rounds, maybe 19 in total.
What's up with this, man? I watched Harry and Hugo cast the European games today. They get overtimes, 16-14s, 3-map series the whole way. I mean, I think we're about to clock out soon if this keeps up. Team Liquid, clearly not paid by the hour because they're looking to leave as fast as can be. But
yeah, I got my punch card ready. Oh,
Yeah.
Steel, I think Steel's been spotted. Yeah, Naf a little bit far back there, just waiting for an overextension, if even only slight. And Jaji finds the corner of a smoke with a deagle, gets some damage in, and maybe falls back. No, Stewie's already pushed the smoke. Of course he has.
who is this kid?
Who is this kid?
Sliding through smokes, smacking him back with the Mac 10. 6 health and 7 health respective for Stewie and Naf after they muscled their way into that B bomb site. So if there wasn't already a mile-long list of unfortunate moments for Chaos where they could have contested more rounds here, let's add this one on top of that, because those first 2 kills could have net them some sort of a hold, and then these still decently equipped players for Chaos could have swung on over, but not the world we live in, Mo.
So that exact smoke pathing, so you saw how Stewie ran through that because Janji was spamming on the other side of it. So like that same exact smoke pathing was something that Stewie did when I played with him in a match, where he was like, we should go through the smoke because I'm comfortable trading through it. And then we executed through a smoke, and that same smoke on Banana on Old Inferno. And I ran through first, and then I ended up dying. And then when we lost the round, Stewie was like, no, I should have entry'd through the smoke. Because he knew he's so comfortable running through smokes, knowing exactly where the player is going to be on this other side of it. Because he's so good with the sound that he was the one who wanted to do it. And that's why he always does those smoke plays. He's really good at maintaining his crosshair placement while coming through the smoke.
Without vision.
What's most disorienting for most people, yeah.
And what you're telling me is he's better than you.
He was better than me, and I think it makes sense that I'm casting him playing and not the other way around.
Well, we got a little CT clash set up at the top of Banana. I like the change of pace there from Chaos. They were still working with the few tools they held on to in the previous round. Instead of letting Team Liquid execute past the top of Banana and hit the site, as we saw, where the 13 HP combined made a difference, they throw themselves into the setup, looking to disrupt the timing of Liquid, and they almost do that. 1 kill, and again damage versus Nitro, but the whole round now hinges on Vanity doing something at the A site, and he gets gunned down by Twist, as does Steel. Team Liquid taking 15 rounds here on Chaos's map pick.
Well, at least you didn't put too much effort into it. You know, you won't be burned out after a map like this. If it does end quickly. Now, the whole series is comprised of maps that Chaos have played or know they can play and are comfortable on, so that's good. But same goes for Team Liquid. It's not going to be easy whatsoever. But in general, of the 3 maps, Inferno, Mirage, Overpass. Overpass a little bit more hard, but Mirage is obviously not a very hard map comparatively. So, you know, maybe it's a map that Chaos can do well on despite not having a lot of practice.
Ooh. Timing on the nade.
Yeah, hit with the double ornaments there at the top of Banana. But he wouldn't tell you Christmas came early.
Nope. Poor guy. Blasted to smithereens. Janji's gonna have to watch on the sidelines as his team in a man disadvantage looks to try and extend this game into some type of respectable territory, but Zeppa up at bat again. Hey man, if anybody's getting multi-kills for Chaos throughout this first map, it's Zeppa. He's done a great job at getting into the construction over on the B site, and this time coming out of Cubby. Mows down 3. But the question remains, is it enough? Because we've got Twists with that bomb walking back on short. If he just nails the player in pit, or if he can cut off the Opper who's now tucked into Moto, then there's a world here. But he's so focused on clearing the site that he gives up his back to Vanity, and we have Chaos sitting on 4.
Yeah, nice round from Zappa. That 3K takes him into double digits. It's on the full rifle. A great readjustment on that last kill. Almost, I think, let go of his click and then started spraying again, which could punish you on your spread, but still maintained enough control to knock down that 3rd kill and keep Chaos alive for 1 more round potentially. Now they have a lot here. They have a little bit more in terms of the off plus the utility, and Liquid are going with the full rifle setup. So let's see what Chaos can do. Do they have anything else that's interesting left in store? Rotates are coming out early after some early Banana pressure, and now they just completely come back to the A site, more of a standard setup.
Coming into this series, you know, my curiosity was really piqued by Zeppa in the sense that, like, we don't know what he can do versus this caliber of opponent. So we haven't had much time to appreciate what Chaos has to offer, but they're now in a position where maybe we get to learn, which is always worth your time, folks. But Twist apparently doesn't think voltage is worth much, just peeks out, blows his head clean off, and then tucks back in for a moment. Elige will have to pick a bit of shrapnel from his teeth, but he is still standing real tall as he falls back towards the base of B. Look at Chaos. They're starting to evacuate that B bomb site, and the timing could come back to bite them.
Oh my god, yeah, this is maybe a heinous over-adjustment. They have so much no, now that you just start running back, right? They've just cleared out top mid. You got to be running back at this point, okay? Because your teammates just got that info for you. Corroborate that information, make the rotation. Oh my god, they're completely evacuating the A site now. Running back and forth, getting juggled, but no one's in either site. They're on the extremities.
Until now, Dewey, he gets some footing on it. Steel's throwing shots through, trying to stop that bomb planter. Stewie's going to get it in with 34 HP left over. And we have 4 of these terrorists already starting to dogpile the bomb site, looking to take us into map 2. All the while, as Chaos look forward, there's a potential flank coming in from Twist, but this could all boil down to timing. CTs try to get themselves forward. It's all on Steel, and down he goes. 16-4, folks, as Team Liquid walk into the very first match of this event and just smoke their opponents on their own map choice.
Indeed they did. And I don't want to, pick at them, especially for the closing rounds there where it felt like it was all over. It started to come back, and maybe there should be more analysis given to those rounds. I think the important ones for number 1, that Steel did a good job of calling in the sense that they picked B, which was the exploitable site, before anybody else knew it. But even as those rounds went on, they kept losing them. And before you know it, it was 12-3. It could have been like a 10-5 or 9-6 half. But they couldn't keep up in terms of aim, even though some of the strategy was pretty good.
Maybe a change of scenery will be enough to refresh Chaos. And if you think so, then you'll have to stay tuned, folks. We'll be back with Mirage after the break.